Hello, welcome to part 10. Say, I finally opened up that Van der Graaf generator, the one on the back to black pressing, and I had as you can see here, it's like the tail of the three pressings. We got the Mad Hatter, we got the Pink Scroll, and we got the Back on Black reissue that's on a double LP. They do it where they've got kind of like the picture on one side, of course, and then the other side is where they have the song, the listing on it. So, first up is the Pink Scroll label. Okay, this is the Mad Hatter label. That's the first one. This is from about 72, I think it came out. It's a reissue. And it's still a UK pressing, and it's still, of course, very old, 1972. And this one was, I guess it was a tie with the Back on Black reissue. Next is the Pink Scroll label, or the famous Charisma label on it's pink, and that was the best sounding one of the three. And then we have the Back on Black reissue. And now, this was about the same as the Mad Hatter. But, at first I thought this was the best sounding pressing. I was hard pressed. I mean, I had to go back and forth many times between the Pink Scroll and then back over to the Mad Hatter. Okay, so like I was saying, I went back and forth through all those pressings quite a number of times. And at first, I thought that the new Black on Black issue was the best sounding because boy, does it ever sound great. And then I compared it to the Pink Scroll, and then I thought I heard a little bit different. But finally, at the end, it took me quite a while. I decided the Pink Scroll was a little bit better, not by much now. You had to, like I said, I had to listen quite a bit. And the Mad Hatter and the new reissue on the Black on Black, I think they're about the same. It's a toss up, you have to listen. But the whole point is, no, I bought another issue of this record before. It's on this Four Men with Beards, and now that press, that one sounded like you threw a blanket over the speaker. It was terrible. I put it on and played it like half a song, and that was it. It wasn't any contest. So, like, we were talking about here, not all these reissues are created the same, and I haven't bought any more Four Men with Beards reissues, but that one, yeah, that one put me off of that. So that one in particular, I don't like. Now maybe the other ones are okay. I wouldn't know, but that's just my experience right there. So if you can find this Back on Black reissue, it's on a double record now, and you can get it for a good price, and you don't want to spend 100 or whatever for a Pink Scroll, then by all means buy that reissue on the Back on Black. It's really, I recommend it. Okay, and where we left off before was with the Stevie Wonder Innervisions, and like I was saying when the film ended, this is the only Stevie Wonder album that I have because it's got that Too High on it, and wow, the cymbals on this record, they sound just like you're there. They really do. They really put a mic on that cymbal, and the guy's hitting on it. Wow, that's great sound right on there. So they might have. I think they reissued it. I'm happy with that one. I don't need to go and get another one. Then we got some Yardbirds in here, and then we've got this what's called Clan of Zymox, and I like them. They're a little bit like Depeche Mode, a little bit on that side of things, and the one in particular, the one song that they do in particular that is really good, it's called Obsession, and this is the 12-inch off of there. So look up that on YouTube, Zymox Obsession. Have a listen to that, and you'll get an idea what they're all about. And then we get into the Yes. Now, Yes is another one of those bands. I used to probably have 15 of their records because they put out a whole bunch of stuff. But they just used to sit on the shelf. And so now I've got it downsized. When I want to listen to some Yes, there's some albums that I'm always going to turn to. And this is going to be one of them right here. Now this was just redone. This is a reissue. Acoustic, look at that. Kevin Gray, Steve Hoffman, mastered at Acoustic. When you see that stuff on a record, you don't have to worry about it. You can get those. Now this one, I used to have the Japanese first edition of this record, and this one is a lot better. Believe it or not, this one is great sounding record. So I'm really happy with that one. And then of course, Close to the Edge. I love that record. Big Generator and 90215. And you know what? That's it. All the other Yes. Somebody else has them on. They're on eBay, and another owner's got them. Because you know what? Even though they're good and all that, I never listened to them. Like I said, you can't listen to all the artists, all their stuff. And by the time I listen to one or two of those Yes records, I'm ready to move on, listen to somebody else. And then you've got so many hours and hours and hours of music on here. By the time you want to listen to Yes again, it's a couple months down the road. So you've got those records to listen to again. Okay. So then we go to Neil Young. Neil Young's another one of those artists. Everybody knows he's got a bunch of stuff out too. And but you know what? Of all the Neil Young records that's out, here's my favorite one. It's fairly new. It's called Are You Passionate? And it's on a double record produced by Neil Young. And it's on Vapor, which is a sort of a reprise, I guess. But wow, great fidelity on this double LP set. Great songs too. This is just after he, I guess, was getting a divorce from his wife, and he still got a lot. After Harvest Moon, he still got a lot of that stuff to get out of his system. So there's a lot of great records on that sound on that record. And then this is stuck in with the Neil Young. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Who doesn't like this record? And I used to have, of course, the U.S. first edition. I think I bought it when I was probably, 14 or something when it came out. I bought the record right off, the record store. And then I bought here probably, a few years back, the Classic Records reissued it on that 200 gram vinyl. But, it didn't sound that great. So I went and bought a Japanese copy. Wow, what a difference. But that Japanese copy, it was probably like a third edition that I bought. So over the last few years or so, I've been trying to get a first edition. Well, 2,000 yen on there. This is finally a first edition. And you can tell, wow, it's got the original thick cover, just like the first edition US does on that first edition Japanese. Now, the later Japanese, they don't have that same cover like that. So that's a dead giveaway. But what fantastic sound on that compared to that Classic Records reissue, which I think I sold it for $100 or maybe more on eBay. But yeah, don't bother with that. Go up there. There's a bunch of these on eBay. The Japanese editions. Pick one of those up, and you'll really be happy with that. Now this is a new record too. Neil Young. I used to have I think probably a second edition on a reprise Canadian. It had great sound, a good sound on it, and all that. But I bought this new one, and this is on that Neil Young ORS archive stuff, and they're pretty expensive. I think it was like $35. It's okay. I haven't listened to it lately, but it wasn't like I thought, wow, this is just a great sounding record. It's a good sounding record. That was my impression of it. It's great packaging and all that. Yeah, I guess it's kind of similar to that, Paul McCartney stuff. Everything is great, except for the sound maybe could be a little bit better. And then, of course, we get into the rest of the Neil Young stuff that I really like. Rust Never Sleeps. And then you got to have Harvest. Gold Rush. Here's an interesting one. It's that Living with War. I bought this. It's a promo. It's on the Classic Records 200 gram stuff. And it was a promo. I got it for $10. So there you go. That's kind of the way I like to get records. Buffalo Springfield. And here's another one. Neil Young live. It's another one of those. It's good. It's a good record. Really good sound on it. And Freedom. And then I got this on sale, this Neil Young Chrome Dreams. That's a good record. And I bought it on sale. I think I got it for like $17 or something. And it's a good record. It's right around the Are You Passionate, kind of the same kind of thing. Maybe look here. I thought it might have been on Vapor. I don't see it. It's just Reprise, it says. It might be. But, you know, bottom line is, I like it. It's a good record. Okay, and then there's still a little bit. We're still in the kind of the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. So we've got David Crosby, If Only I Could Remember My Name. I think that's the name of this really good record. And then we have Crosby, Stills, and Nash with Wooden Ships on it. Now both of these records, I bought them on that Classic Records 200 gram vinyl. And then, you know, I had never had these records before, but I read all the reviews and the folks were saying how great they were and what great pressings they had, and so I bought them. And I listened to them, and the music was good, but I never really thought that the pressings were so fantastic. And so I didn't really listen to them that much anymore. And then they were reissued by Rhino. And boy, oh boy, are they ever sound nice. And just perfect. You know, it's a Pebble cover on here. And, see if I can see it. Yeah, here it is. Here's this. I try to keep the original bags. Yep, see that? Rhino. That was reissued by Rhino. And what a night and day difference. Folks want to tell you, oh, that Classic Records 200 gram is the best out there. It's not. Rhino reissued both of those records. Much better sounding. So, and here's the bottom line on this whole deal. I bought both of these records new, and I sold both those Classic Records on eBay for more money than I bought these for, because everybody thinks those Classic Records issues are so great, and they're so expensive to start with. You know, I think I got $39 for this one used, and I got $29 for that one used, and I think they were only like $20 each new for the Rhino. So as again, I keep repeating myself here, it's like a broken record. I can't say enough good stuff about the Rhino reissues. Okay, so that's why. So I guess we're getting close to Z, and we're at Z. ZZ Top. You know, I try to get them on the Japanese labels if I can. And then again, we come to the Rhino reissues. And boy, oh boy, this Deguelo, that's like my new favorite test record. That thing is phenomenal sounding. And of course, you know, I used to have the first editions. I used to have a first edition Black London label of this LP. And I always thought it sounded great. It's nothing compared to this. These things will knock your socks off how great they sound. And then I've got Afterburner and Recycler. And this one here, that's on the Rhino. And you can get this one still pretty cheap. And that's got some good songs on it, some good stuff on there. Okay, and now we're getting to that's the ZZ Top. You know, I listened to that new one that came up with a while back on YouTube. Yeah, it wasn't my style. Now, this is originally on the Swirl label. This is one of those Karma label from Italy. It's the reissue. But this Dr. Z, yeah, very, very phenomenal record. If you go on YouTube, hopefully someone's put that on there and listen to that. Dr. Z. I love that record. You know, turn the lights down, listen to that. Got some good stuff, okay, and then of course we're on Z, so we're into Frank Zappa. Now Frank Zappa is another one of those bands, probably had 20 records of Frank Zappa. But what did they all do? You know what they did? They just sat there. But there's always some of those LPs I go to when I want Frank Zappa. and they just reissued this, and that's from Germany, from that Palace Group, audiophile quality, manufactured in Germany. Fantastic. You know, I used to have the first edition, of course, of these on that discreet label, but these are soap. This is really good, and I just saw one on eBay, went for $20. If you want, and it's pristine, it's brand new, and it sounds better than the original. So no brainer. So pick that up. And then I wish they would have reissued this. Apostrophe, it's another good one, but I went back on eBay and I bought one still in the shrink mint shape. So I got that covered for this point. And then another great Zappa record, the Grand Wazoo. Good Zappa record, good music, good stuff on it. You know how a lot of those Frank Zappa records on, they're just talking and making jokes on there. There's not really a lot of music going on with it. But as we all know, Frank Zappa was one of the better guitar players out there. And so these records like this, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, it's all got guitar solos on here. And it's like 3-4 records. How can that be a bad record? It's fantastic. And I just saw one on eBay. I was looking at buying it. It was the Japanese version of it. And it only went for $50. So wow, that was a good deal. And then we have Frank Zappa guitar, the same kind of thing. It's a double LP. It's a newer issue. When I say newer, it probably came out in the late '80s or early '90s. And again, it's just shut up and play your guitar kind of thing. Great record. It's all guitar solos and stuff on there. And then Hot Rats, good LP. And so that's it. That's the Frank Zappa. That's what I consider the best Frank Zappa. And they got some Zombies. And then we're into the jazz stuff, it looks like. So I'm gonna put it on pause, and I think we'll go to the next segment. We'll call it segment 11. We'll just go over the jazz records that I've got.